I think it's finally time to tell the story. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Megan. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video is a little different for me. I really don't do story times. My only story time I've ever done was with my experience at TanaCon, and we all know how that happened. It's technically in my college series just because it has to do with my college, but not really has to do with anything like, you know, useful for college. This is just about a story about how my college dorms for the past 2 years have been haunted, in my opinion. Yeah, it's that type of video. Don't think I'm crazy. So before I start off this video, I just want to preference, like, I'm a religious person, so it's kind of, I'm more keen to believe into supernatural things, ghosts and all that. Like, I believe in all that. If you don't believe in all that, that's fine, that's great, that's cool. Like, just you know, just respect what I believe in, you know, just respect. I just think all the incidents that happened in my dorms the past 2 years, especially last year, you know, were a little iffy, like a little crazy. I obviously don't have any footage of anything because I don't know how I possibly could, because they all happen at random moments. This is just me telling my story, telling what my roommates have seen, what I have seen, and you know, just all the spooky spook. If you're new to my channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Also turn on my post notifications, that way you get notified every time I post a video, because I don't have many story times, but I have some and they're quite interesting. Without further ado, let's get on to the video. So again, I want to start off, like, don't believe I'm a nutcase. Like, I'm not a nutcase. Like, just don't believe I'm a nutcase, okay? Okay, cool. I think I should start this off by doing my first year dorm. Now, my first year dorm, I live, well, actually both of my dorms at my school are apartment style dorms. The first year dorms are actually way older. They were built during the 80s. And then my sophomore dorm was a little bit more new, but still pretty old. Like, it's whatever, you know. So my first year dorm, nothing really crazy happened compared to this past year, but things that were kind of weird was the first week I got there, no one really was home. Like, one of my roommates worked constantly, the other roommate was in Florida at the time, and then my other roommate was like trying not to like move in as much as possible. Like, she was just really like attached to her home, so she was trying to move in at the last possible second. So I was home alone during the first week of dorming. It wasn't during school, but it was just during dorming, and it was just weird. Like, an incident of where I was just chilling on the couch, you know, watching some TV, watching a little, I don't know, I was watching probably cartoons, and all I heard was just sniffling, like someone was having a freaking sneeze attack, like right at my ear. Like, it wasn't like it was distant, it was like right up against my ear, and it freaked me out quite a bit because I knew, one, no one was home, two, the walls are pretty thin in those apartments, but the thing is, like, I couldn't hear someone sniffling if it was right that close up to my ear. Like, that's impossible. Like, even through like a thin wall, like, I couldn't hear that. So when that freaked me out quite a bit. So that was one of the incidents that happened. And you know, I like brushed it off. I didn't really care about it, you know, until I want to say there was this 1 week. So I constantly have my fan on in college. Like, I have a box fan, they provide one to us from the school, and I constantly always have it on, and it's always plugged in into my surge protector or my like extension cord, whatever you want to call it. It's just constantly on. Like, I never turn it off. And there was this 1 week of school where every single time I came back from class, it was off, and the way it was off was someone had to physically switch the off button on the surge protector, like go like boop, boop, every single time I came home for a week straight. And it was really weird because, one, it couldn't be my roommates because the way our schedule was, we all left at the same time, but I was always the one that came home first because everyone else had like later classes than I did. So that didn't really make any sense. Just like a lot of weird things have happened in my first year apartment. That one was clearly the weirdest. There was another time where my friend Selena, my roommate Selena, she walked into my room and she was like, "Megan, why is your elephant like that?" And on my desk my freshman year, I had this little ceramic elephant, and it was super cute, but I don't use it anymore. And she said, "Why is your elephant like that?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And when I turned, my elephant had been turned 180 degrees, so it was now facing the wall instead of facing outwards like it was. And it was like as if someone had to physically pick it up and move it. And again, that was the weirdest thing because, like, clearly no one was in my room, so I was like, what's going on? Why is that weird. So after all those incidents, I started naming this supposed like ghost Jeffrey. Like I started kidding around calling him Jeffrey. Shouldn't have named it, I think, but no, I just named it Jeffrey. I thought it was Jeffrey. I also thought Jeffrey was a friendly ghost. I didn't find him threatening, so you know, I lived on with my life. And that was really the only weird thing that happened at that dorm. Nothing else had really happened. You know, you would hear noises sometimes, living room, but other than that, like I was fine. I was chilling. Now we're moving on into my second year dorm, and this is where things got a little bit crazy and I got a little bit scared and I didn't want to sleep in my room for a while. I think it all started off with just randomly our doors started opening a lot. So the way me and my roommate's room is, there's 3 rooms in the second year dorms. So there's 2 like right here up in the front, but then there's 1 way down the hallway. So we're really secluded. It's the smallest room in the house, which is really unfair, but it is. And it's just always cold in there, like really much colder and like darker than any of the other dorm rooms. Like it was just a little weird. And most of the time we just didn't, you know, think anything of it, of like the doors opening randomly. I would always just kid like, oh, it's a ghost, like it's Jeffrey, he's back, like blah blah blah, like all that stuff. And you know, that would just continue on until one day we had to break into our dorm room because our dorm room got locked and we locked ourselves out, and we don't really know how that happened because me and my roommate really don't ever lock our door unless we're leaving for the weekend. That's the only time we lock our door, and it'll become important in a minute. But we always just lock our door on the weekends. We never lock it when we go to class or anything. We always shut it, but we never lock it. So it was weird that our door was locked and we locked ourselves out. So we had to break in, and our other roommate helped us break in because she said it's really easy to go through the windows, and my window was already open. So we went through that. So my bed up close against the window. I had this little Winnie the Pooh stuffed animal. I don't have it anymore. I gave it to my dog because he wanted it when he was a puppy, so I gave it to him. So I had this little Winnie the Pooh doll. So when we were going through, you know, the window, when I went through the window, I had to take everything off my bed, so my blanket and all that. So when we came back, I was looking for my Winnie the Pooh little toy, and I'm like, where are you? Like, where is it? And the night before, I had just cleaned our room, and again, our room was the smallest room in the house, so like you really couldn't miss anything that was on the floor. So I was looking on the floor, looking under my bed, unraveling my blanket, looking for like 5 minutes straight, and I was like, where is my Winnie the Pooh bear doll? Like, where is it? And as soon as I said that, I turn around and my Winnie the Pooh is right in the middle of my room. Right in the middle. Like, I don't understand like how it could be there, like, because I looked everywhere and I was like, why did it appear like as soon as I said that? And then our door started opening, and then I was like, it's Jeffrey, like he's doing, like he's a ghost, like it's a ghost and all this stuff, because I just think ghost, honestly. And my roommate was like, oh, don't say that, don't say that. So I obviously had to stay calm for her because she gets a little creeped out about that stuff. Like, fine, it's not. So when I started saying this story to my other roommate that helped us broke in, we have a vent in my room. It's like the heater, and it connects to her room, so we can hear each other through the vent sometimes. And she's told us before, when I said this to her, she told me that she's heard before in our room when she knows we're definitely gone. She hears noises in our room, she hears moving around in our room, and we're just like, oh, great, that's great. You're hearing voices through the vents from our room when we're not there. That's great, you know, yay. So the next big incident that happened, my roommate had this little ball, and this little ball like made really horrific monkey noises. I don't know why she got it. Her mom sent it to her, and I started joking around. I'm like, oh, what if the ghost like played with this or something like that? And then she got scared of that, so we moved it to the living room. And I remember I was playing with it one day, and I like threw it, and I knew it landed in the middle of our hallway, so I knew that's where it is. So I went to my room, I come out, and the ball's like right in front of my door now. So I was like, what's going on? So I go to my other roommate and I'm like, hey, did you move the ball in front of my room? And she's like, yeah, I was just playing with you and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I was like, ah, ha, 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 that's funny, like, blah, 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 like, that's funny. So I go to the kitchen, I make my dinner, you know, everything's great. I come back, and now the ball, guess where the ball is? In the middle of my room. The middle. Exactly where the Pooh Bear doll was, actually, that one time. Right in the middle. To my other roommate, and I'm like, did you move the ball into my room now? And she's like, no, what are you talking about? I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I just moved it the first time. And my roommate's a really bad liar. Like, she starts smiling a lot when she's lying, so I knew she wasn't lying now. And I was like, it's in the middle of my room now. And she's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yeah, it is, go look. And she's like, what the heck? And I'm like, yeah. So that happened. A little bit creeped out, but I'm not as creeped out because, again, I think it's Jeffrey, and again, I was threatened by Jeffrey, so I'm just like, oh, okay, you know, it's It's fine. It's fine. And let me tell you this all happened fall semester. So this whole entire semester of fall, I was having really bad sleep paralysis every time I visited home. So every single time I went home, I had sleep paralysis the day before. And if you guys don't know what sleep paralysis, it's a scary experience. It's when your body's completely paralyzed, you're conscious, you're awake, but you can't move at all. A lot of people describe it as really terrifying. Mine is very terrifying as well. Like, I hate it. I have to pray every single time it happens. And during this whole entire time, it was just constant. Like, I've had it before in the past, but it was just being like frequent. Like, every single night I came home, like, it would happen. Like, it didn't matter like what I was doing, like, it would happen every single day I came home from, you know, school. Like, it would just come home. And I remember during winter break I had it like around 8 times. But the thing is, I've never had sleep paralysis at my dorms whatsoever. It was always just when I came home. That's what happened all fall semester. So spring semester, like when we came back, I started getting sleep paralysis at school. And I started getting freaked out because I'm just like, why am I getting sleep paralysis here? Like, doesn't make any sense. And there was also a period of time where me and my roommate were both, we couldn't sleep. We were waking up a lot, especially her. She kept on waking up around the same time each morning, and she didn't know why. It was always just in the middle of the night. She just kept waking up. So we were just having a lot of like weird things happening with our sleep. So she bought a cross to put on the wall. I had a rosary that my friend gave me because I told her how bad my sleep paralysis was, and she just gave it to me. And there was one time where it was really, really bad, and I've been wearing it every single time I go to bed. So nothing was happening at all a spring semester until our doors started opening in and out again. I didn't find anything threatening about it, but the big incident that happened is when me and my roommate went away for Coachella. So again, like I said, we always lock our door on the weekend. So we made sure to lock our door that weekend. So we know we went to Coachella, we had fun, we came back Monday, and my 2 roommates are like, we need to talk to you. And then I was like, okay. And she's like, yeah, we need to talk to you without Alexis. And I was like, why? And they're like, because she's gonna get scared. And I was like, great. Like, great, something happened again, so great. So we told Alexis, go to your room and plug your ears. So what happened when you guys left? First, they told us that the Thursday that we left, our door was open, like wide open. And we were like, we locked our door, and they're like, yeah, but it was open, like it was wide open. So that was weird right off the bat. And then I guess one of my roommates was home alone the whole entire time. Like, my other roommate went away for the weekend to her like cousins, and my other roommate never came home, so like no one was home for the rest of the weekend. She was home Thursday night, so she saw our door wide open. She went to go wash her face because the restroom sinks are right by me and Alexis's dorm room. And you know, she just said she got this feeling of being watched over her. Like, all of a sudden when she was washing her face, she just felt like she was being watched. And we were like, I'm like, that's weird. And she's like, no. So she said she felt she was being watched. And so she said she turned around to look into our room, and the first bed you see is Alexis's. So she said right under Alexis's bed, she saw a woman crawling under her bed. Crawling. So she freaked out. She finished washing her face and she ran to her room and she locked the door. And she said the whole entire night she just kept on hearing as if boots were tapping on the floor. And we kind of have like a hard floor, so like it was very clear you can hear like steps, and no one else was in the house. So she was freaked out, and when she told her boyfriend about it the next day, he said that, and he's a skeptic, he doesn't believe in any religion, he doesn't believe in anything. He said before, and he sleeps over quite a lot, that he hears things in the middle of the night, but he just plays them off. Like, he's like, oh, maybe it's the girls or something like that. But like, he says really late at night that he hears like steps throughout the whole entire house and stuff like that. And I'm just like, that's great. Like, thank you for telling me that there was probably a spirit, you know, under my roommate's bed. You know, that's great. Clearly after that, I was pretty spooked. Oh, and she said that she was so scared that when she left for the weekend, she left all the lights on and no one was there the whole entire weekend. And when my other roommate came back from her family's house on Sunday or Monday, she said all the lights were turned off. So someone had to physically turn off all the lights, and no one was there the whole entire weekend. So obviously when they told me this, I was really spooked out. We didn't want to tell Alexis. We eventually did end up telling Alexis. She got super freaked out. I got super freaked out to the point where I need to call my mom. And my mom, obviously, my mom's a very religious woman. She, you know, clearly believes in God. And she kind of like boos away all these bad spirits, like whenever I tell her about sleep paralysis, and she's just like, you just always have to pray. Like, she like kind of plays it off, like she doesn't find it threatening. because again, she's really strong in faith. So when I actually told her about what my roommate had saw and like all this and stuff like that, my mom immediately told me what to do, how to bless oil, like all this type of stuff. Like I need to bless oil, I need to put on the door, I need to put in crosses while saying a prayer, I need to do all this. And I started freaking out because of the way my mom reacted, because my mom's never reacted to stuff like that before. So she told me to do all that. She told me how to yell for it to get out, all this type of stuff. She prayed over us. Like, that got me a little spooked out even more because of how serious my mom was taking it. So I was like, oh, okay. So Ashley didn't have a roommate at the time, which is my other roommate, and so we put both of those beds together that were in the dorm, and me and Alexis slept in Ashley's room well, I slept for one night, Alexis slept for 2 nights because she was still scared because clearly it was under her bed, and I slept in my room alone, and I just kept on praying. Obviously I wore my rosary, and we only had 3 weeks left at that time, so I was just like praying to God, like, nothing happened, like make sure nothing happens in these 3 weeks because I don't want to get scared again. So that was basically how I believe my past 2 dorms were haunted. Again, old roommate, my friend Selena, she told me crazy things that happened in her dorm where she saw shadow figures, where she's heard loud thumps before when no one was home. So I don't know if it's just like my dorms at my school are haunted or if we're haunted. I don't think we're haunted because nothing ever happens here at my house besides sleep paralysis. And the reason why it took me so long to like actually say the story is because 1, I want to be out of the dorm, and 2, I think right now I don't have as much sleep paralysis, so I felt like calmer talking about it. Basically how I think both of my school dorms were haunted, and we're gonna see if this dorm's haunted too, because if it is, I'm not gonna be okay. Like, I'm not gonna be okay if it is, because, you know, I have 2 more years that I have to live there, and I'm just like, do I want to have another ghost? Like, no. Do I want Jeffrey to come back? No. So hopefully it's not. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, also comment down below any ideas you guys have for future videos, and until next time, bye.